Hey friends, welcome to Power Quote Music. In this presentation, we're going to do a complete technical overview of the Tascam Model 12 12-track digital recording mixer with DAW controller and audio interface. But before we continue, I want to quickly ask you to please check out my YouTube homepage to view all of my videos carefully organized by subject. And if you find this information useful, please like and subscribe. You see, it really helps out the channel a great deal and also helps us to keep doing what we're doing. And now, back to the presentation. Tascam Model 12 is a versatile production workstation and DAW control surface for people like music producers, content creators, live performers, and podcasters. At the heart of this unit is a compact mixer that includes Ultra HDDA, which is high definition discrete architecture, microphone preamps, a compressor, a 3-band EQ on each channel, along with 3-band mastering EQ, among many other features. In this presentation, I'm going to cover the Tascam Model 12's features, technical specifications, top panel controls, and back panel. So with this, grab your coffee and your tea, sit back and relax, and stay with me until the very end. If you're looking to upgrade or buy your first multi-track recorder, this is the presentation you are not going to want to miss. So let's dive in. Let's start with viewing the Tascam Model 12's features. The unit uses Ultra HDDA mic preamps that are built in for channels 1 through 6. This is a 10-input digital mixer with 10 line and 8 mic inputs. Now again, this is a digital mixer and this is Tascam specifications and not mine. So if you have any questions about the Model 12 being a digital mixer, contact Tascam. MIDI input and output connectors are available, and multi-track recording and playback is available with up to 12-track simultaneous recording, and you can see the input specifications in parentheses there. This is a USB audio interface with built-in functions like 12 tracks, that is 10 input channels and 2 main mix left-right bus inputs, and 10 track outputs and computer outputs. The unit supports USB 2.0 audio with resolutions of up to 24-bit and 48 kHz sampling frequencies. It also has digital compressors on every channel, as well as TRS input jacks that support high impedance, that is high Z, on every channel as well. The channel inserts are on channels 1 and 2, and multiple buses are included on the unit that are stereo main, sub, and aux buses. There are 2 aux sends, and every input channel has a 3-band semi-parametric equalizer. There's also a 3-band semi-parametric equalizer available for output, and the unit has 16 preset effects that can be used. It also supports Bluetooth audio playback and recording, and punching in and out per track. The unit uses HD cards for recording and playback, and the foot switch functions are also available that include punching in and out, play and pause, and more. It has 2 built-in phone outputs, and its DAW control supports HUI, MCU emulation, and last but not least, a click output supports tap tempo. Now we'll check out the Tascam Model 12's technical specifications in detail. So you nerds are going to love this. The chart on your screen right now is a chart that has 2 columns. The first column is going to be your technical specifications. The column to the right is going to be the technical specification details. So we're going to go down this chart row by row, and we're going to check them out, starting with the recording section. The first item or first row is going to be the supported media. So here is all of the SD card supported media for this unit to the right. Under that, we have the file system. the SD cards will operate on this particular file system specification. Under that, we have the recording file format, which is WAV, and the playback format, which is also WAV. Under that, we have the sampling frequency, which is 44.1K, which is CD quality, and 48K HC, which is above that and awesome. We also have the bit depth, which is 16 by 24 bits, and we also have the maximum recording channel number, which is 12. Under that, we have the audio inputs, which is going to be starting with your mic inputs, which is going to be channel 1 to 6, channel 7, 8, and then channel 9, 10. After that, we have the connectors, which are going to be XLR, and then we have the maximum input level, the nominal input level, the minimum input level, and the gain adjustable range, which is 0 to 50 decibels to your right. After that, we have the input impedance and the phantom power supply for the audio input section. After that, we have your line in section, and the line in is going to cover channel 1 through channel 10. After that, we have the connectors, which are going to be 1/4 inch TRS phone jack connectors. We have the maximum input level, the nominal input level, the gain adjustable range, and the input impedance for the line in section, which is 22K OHM. After that, we have the instrument in section, and this is going to be channel 1 to 6, channel 7, and channel 9. The connector is going to be 1/4 inch TS phone jacks. And under that, we have the maximum input level, the nominal input level, the gain adjustable range, and the input impedance. The next in is going to be the insert section, which is going to be channel 1 and channel 2. The connector is going to be a 1/4 inch TRS phone jack. The return is a ring. And the maximum input level we have, the nominal input level, the input impedance, and the send is on the tip. And the maximum output level we have after that, the nominal input level, and then the output impedance, which is 100 ohm. What follows is going to be your music talk section, which is going to be channel 910. The connector is going to be a 1/8 inch TRRS jack. And under that, we have the maximum input level, the nominal input level, and the input impedance for music talk. What follows is the out section. And we're going to start with the main output. The connector is XLR, and under that we have the maximum output level, the nominal output level, and the output impedance, which is 200 ohms. Under that we have the sub out and the aux out. Connector is going to be a 1/4 inch TRS phone jack. Under that we have the maximum output level, the nominal output level, and the output impedance. What follows is the phone out, which is going to be phones 1 and 2. The connector is going to be a 1/4 inch stereo phone jack. Under that, we have the maximum output level and the working impedance. If I'm going too fast for you, just pause and check it out and come on back. We'll keep going. Under that, we have the control input and output, which is going to be, we'll start with the USB. The connector is a USB Type-C. The transfer format is USB 2.0 high speed, and the format is a mass storage class USB audio class 2.0. Under that, we have the click, the metronome click, which is going to be a 1/4 inch TRS phone jack. Under that, we have the foot switch, which is a 1/4 inch TRS phone jack. And then we have our MIDI section, which is going to be our MIDI out. The connector is 5-pin DIN. It's, of course, standard. MIDI in is 5-pin DIN and standard as well. The USB audio sampling rate is going to be a 44.1 and a 48K HC. Under that, we have the bit depth and the maximum input and the maximum output. What follows is Bluetooth. So that's going to be the 2 main or the channel 910. The version's 5.0, and then we have the output class, the supported profile, the supported A2DP codecs, and we have the A2DP content protection. What follows then is going to be your channel EQ. So on this unit, we have a low cut, we have high, mid, and low for the channel EQ. And then we also have a master EQ, which also has a high, mid, and low. And of course, to the right are going to be all your specs for those items. Next is going to be your internal effects. And the type to the right, we have hall, room, play, studio, live, delay, ping pong, chorus, flanger, delay in hall 2, chorus in hall, and chorus in hall 2. After that, we have your power specifications, AC power, power consumption, 16 watts. We have the dimensions of the unit along with the weight. We have the operating temperature of the unit for anyone who's interested. And also the included items when you buy it are going to be the AC adapters and such. Next, we move on to the audio performance. The frequency response, 20 hertz to 20 kHz, flat frequency response within the realm of human hearing. That's what we want. Signal noise ratio. We have under that the equivalent input noise and the THD, total harmonic distortion. What specs to your right? We have the crosstalk and the maximum gain specs to your right as well. Take some time and check that out. Moving on to the supported PCs for all you DAW fans out there. All right, we have for window compatible computers. We have it, of course, you're going to need a USB 2.0 port. We have your CPU requirements, your memory requirements, the driver you're going to need, and also the screen resolution for the unit as well. Under that, for you Mac users, the compatible computers that you're going to need for Mac, your CPU, your memory, your driver for Mac, and also we're looking at the screen resolution as well for that. And last but not least is going to be your iOS and iPad drivers, which is going to be your core audio. And you're going to need a lightning connector if you're going to connect to an iOS iPad as well. And there you have it. Those are your tech specs for your Tascam Model 12 in detail. Now, we'll move on to the Tascam Model 12's top panel controls. The Tascam Model 12's top panel is broken down into 6 distinct sections. The first section is the input channel mixing section, and this is used to adjust the input levels of each channel. The second is the input mixing section 2. This section is used to choose input sources for each channel and adjust the compressors and equalizers and set the levels to each of the main buses. The third is the equalizer section. You use this section to connect headphones and adjust the output equalizer. The fourth section is the screen operation section, and this is used to operate the meter, home, and menu screens. The fifth is the monitoring section, and you would use this section to switch the Bluetooth device input destinations. You switch the monitoring destinations and adjust the aux outputs. Last but not least is the analog output adjustment section. And you use this section to adjust the outputs of the built-in effects and the main output and sub output jacks. Let's start with the input channel mixing section 1. The first item we have is the gain knobs and the sig indicators. You use the gain knobs to adjust the input levels of each channel. Now its sig or signal indicator will light green when a signal is input. If a sig or signal indicator stays lit red continuously, then lower the gain knob, of course, right? Next is the low cut switches. You turn this switch on, you push it in to enable the low cut filters that cut noise and other sounds at lower frequencies. After that, we have the inst or instrument switches. You set these according to the mic line, balance, instrument, TRS input jack input sources. Turn the inst switch on, that is push it in when connecting to a guitar, bass, or other equipment with high output impedance. Turn the inst switch off, that means not pushed in, when connecting electronic instruments such as audio devices, mics, and other equipment. The next section is the input channel mixing section 2. The first item here we have are the mode switches. Use these to select the input source for each channel. After that, we have the comp knobs and indicators. Use these knobs to adjust the compression thresholds for the signals input to each channel. When compression is activated, the comp indicators will light up. After that, we have the EQ knobs. Use these to boost and attenuate the high, mid, and low bands of each channel. After that, we have the aux1 knobs. Use these to adjust the levels of signals sent to the aux1 bus. After that, we have the post indicators. This is shared by all channels. When the indicator is lit, signals are sent to the aux1 bus after the channel faders. After that, we have the aux2 FX knobs. Use these to adjust the levels of the signals sent to the aux2 FX bus or post fader. Next, we have the pan knobs. Use these to adjust the stereo positions of the signals input to each channel. Next, we have the REC or REC buttons and indicators. Use these to select the channels to record to the SD card. After that, we have the mute switches and indicators. When these switches are pushed in, and the mute indicator is lit, those channels are muted. After that, we have the channel faders. Use these to adjust the send levels of channel signals. After that, we have the main switches. Turn these switches on, that means push them in to send channel signals to the main mix left-right bus. After that, we have the sub switches. Turn these switches on, that means press them in to send channel signals to the sub left-right bus. Last but not least here, we have the solo switches. Turn these switches on, that means push them in to send channel signals to the solo left-right bus. Now, when these switches are turned on, the sound of their channels can be heard through the solo left-right bus with headphones. Let's move on to the equalizer section. The first item is the master section EQ knobs. This 3-band semi-parametric equalizer affects signals output from the main output and the aux outputs. After that, we have the acute switch. This sets the acuteness of the midband of the semi-parametric equalizer. When the switch is on, the band is acute, making it affect the narrower frequency band. When the switch is off, the band is less acute, making it affect a broader frequency band. After that, we have the phones jack. Use this standard stereo jack to connect headphones. After that, we have the phantom plus 48V switch and indicator. Use this switch to supply plus 48V phantom power to the 1 through 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10 XLR jacks on the back of the unit. The indicator lights when the phantom plus 48V switch is set to on, that is when it's pushed in. Next, we have the SD card slot. You insert your SD cards in this slot. Simple. After that, we have the aux 1 and 2 main mix switch. You set which output signals are affected by the equalizer using this switch. Now the aux 1-2 switch, the equalizer, when it's set to this, the equalizer is applied to the signals from the aux 1 and aux 2 FX buses. When it's set to the main mix, the equalizer is applied to signals sent from the main mix left-right bus. Now here's a point of note. Also set the EQ in bypass switch to EQ in. After that, we have the EQ in bypass switch. Now, when this switch is EQ in, the equalizer will affect the output signals set with the aux 1, 2, and main mix switch. When set to bypass, the equalizer will not be applied regardless of the aux 1, 2 main mix switching setting. Let's move on to the screen operation section. The first item is the display, which shows all of your required information. After that, we have the USB indicator. Now this lights when the USB connection is working. After that, we have the PFL AFL indicator. This indicator lights when at least one channel solo switch is on, or when the AFL switch for the aux 1 or aux 2 knobs, or the FX fader is on. After that, we have the function buttons. These functions, or should I say the functions of these buttons, change depending on the screen shown on the display. The functions shown at the bottom of the display are the currently assigned functions for the screen. Next, we have the multi-jog dial. This dial functions as a dial when turned and as a button when pressed. Let's look at the dial functions. You turn the dial when the home screen is open to move the file's playback position. When a menu screen is open, turn the dial to select items and change the setting values. Let's look at when you push the button. You press the button when the home screen is open to designate a locate point. When a menu screen is open, you press this button to confirm selections and settings. Let's move on to the output level indicators. These show the output levels of the main output jacks. When the PFL AFL indicator is lit, These show the output levels from the solo left-right bus. Next, we have the double left and the double right buttons. When stopped and during playback, press and hold these buttons to search backward and forward. After that, we have the menu button. When the meter is open, press to open the home screen. When the menu screen or a menu item setting screen is open, press to return to the home screen. After that, we have the stop button indicator. Of course, you press to stop playback or recording. After that, we have the play and pause button indicators. Press this button to start playback. This button lights during playback and recording, and this button blinks when paused. After that, we have the record button indicator. Press this button to start recording, and this button lights during recording, and you press this button during playback to start recording. Let's move on to the monitoring section. The first item is the mute switch indicator. When mute switches are on, the mute indicators are lit and the signals to the aux output, aux 1 and 2 jacks are muted. After that, we have the AFL switches. When these switches are on, that means they're pushed in, the aux output, aux 1 and 2 jack output signals are sent to the solo left-right bus. When these switches are on, the sound of the solo left-right bus can be heard through the headphones. After that, we have the pairing button and indicator. Press and hold this button to activate Bluetooth pairing mode. Now press when pairing to end the pairing mode. After that, we have the assign switch. Sound from the Bluetooth device is sent to channels 910 when this switch is set to 910 or the main mix left-right bus when it is set to main. After that, we have the aux 1, aux 2 knobs. Use these to adjust the output levels of the aux output, aux 1 and 2 jacks. After that, we have the PFL-AFL master knob. Use this to adjust the send level from the solo left-right bus. Next, we have the SD main mix return switch. When this switch is on, that is when it's pushed in, playback of the stereo master files recorded on the SD card is output from the main output jacks. After that, we have the phones knob. Use this to adjust the headphone output level. Last but not least, we have the aux 1-2 main switch. Turn these switches on to monitor signals from the aux 1 and aux 2 FX buses. The last section is the analog output adjustment section. The first item is the mute switch and indicator. When the mute switch is on, that is when it's pushed in, the mute indicator will light and the signal from the built-in effects is muted. After that, we have the mute switches and indicators. When the mute switches are on, the mute indicator lights. Signals to the sub output and main output jacks are muted. After that, we have the tempo indicator. This lights green when a song has a click sound output set that is loaded. When the metronome is operating, it lights or blinks as follows. Now, if it blinks red, this color lights on the first beat of the setting. If the indicator color is green, this blinks at the set tempo. What follows then is the click button. When the effect screen is open, tap this button repeatedly at the desired speed to set the delay of the built-in effect. When the tap tempo screen is open, tap this button repeatedly at the desired tempo to set the metronome. Now, press this button when the metronome is stopped to start it at the set tempo. Press this button when the metronome is on to stop it. After that, we have the effects fader. Use this to adjust the levels of the signals sent from the built-in effect to the following buses, which are the main mix left-right bus, the solo left-right bus, the aux 1 bus, and the sub left-right bus. After that, we have the 2 aux 1 knob. Use these to adjust the levels of the signals from the built-in effects to the aux 1 bus. After that, we have the select button. Open the effects screen and make the built-in effects. Or should I say open the effects screen and make built-in effects. The built-in effects return the signal that is sent from the following buses. And that would be the main mix left-right bus, the solo left-right bus, the aux1 bus, and the sub left-right bus. After that, we have the main switch. When the main switch is on, signals from the built-in effects are sent to the main left-right bus. After that, we have the sub switch. When this switch is on, signals from the built-in effects are sent to the sub left-right bus. After that, we have the AFL switch. When this switch is on, signals from the built-in effects are sent to the solo left-right bus. Now, when this switch is on, the sound of the solo left-right bus can be heard with headphones. After that, we have the post-rec switch. Select the send position of the signal recorded to the SD card. When this switch is on, signals from the main fader are recorded to the SD card. After that, we have the aux1 switch. When this switch is on, signals from the built-in effects are sent to the aux1 bus. After that, we have the main switch. When this switch is on, that is when it's pushed in, the sub-output jack output signal is sent to the main mix left-right bus. After that, we have the sub fader. Use this to adjust the output level of the sub-output jacks. Last but not least is the main fader. Use this to adjust the output of the level of the main output jacks. Last but not least, we'll check out the Tascam Model 12's back panel. We'll start with the USB port. This is a USB Type-C port, and you're going to use a USB cable, of course, to connect to it. What else would you use, right? After that, well, first I want to stop and say that you should only, this cable should only be connected directly to a computer, not through a USB hub, because noise could be picked up if the cable is too long, so keep that in mind. Next, we have the main output left-right jacks. These analog outputs are XLR jacks. After that, we have the music talk jack. That is 910. And it's a 4-pole mini jack. And this is for input and output. So by using a cable with a 4-pole mini plug, the signals output from the main output jacks can be sent to a smartphone while simultaneously receiving input from the smartphone. Moving on, we have the mic line instrument input jacks. That is 7/8 and 910. These are analog inputs, and they are XLR TRS combo jacks. The balanced XLR jacks are for XLR balance mic input, and the TRS jacks are for standard TRS stereo line input. Moving on, we have the mic line balanced instrument input jacks 1 through 6. These analog inputs are XLR TRS combo jacks as well. And the balanced XLR jacks are for XLR balance mic input, while the TRS jacks are for standard TRS mono line input. What follows is your DC in of 15-volt connector, and you would of course connect your AC adapter to that. After that, we have the standby switch you would press to turn the unit on and off. After that, we have the sub output left-right jacks. These standard TRS jacks are analog outputs. After that, we have the aux output jacks, and those are the 1x2 jacks. These standard TRS jacks are analog outputs, and we move on then to the click track outputs. This outputs the metronome click sound. After that, we have the foot switch jack. This is the standard TRS jack for connecting a foot switch. So we have, after that, the MIDI out connector. It's a 5-pin DIN standard MIDI output connector. If the MIDI time code or the MIDI clock SPP items are set to on the MIDI screen, those will also be output here. After that, we have the MIDI in connector. This is also a 5-pin DIN standard MIDI input connector. MIDI signals input through this connector will be sent to the computer. Last but not least is your insert jacks. That is 1 to 2 standard. These standard TRS jacks, you would use these to connect to external devices such as effects. And there you have it, your back panel for your Tascam Model 12. For more information on the Tascam Model 12, check out my following presentations. The first is Tascam Model 12 MIDI Implementation Explained. And the second is Tascam Model 12 Multitrack Recorder, 5 Things All Should Know on this channel. Well, that's a wrap. If you like this presentation, please give it the thumbs up and then click the subscribe button on your screen to join our group. We have new videos coming out every 7 to 14 days, and leave a comment in the comment section about this content. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and TikTok. Now, while you're here, listen to some of the music and check out the playlist because they're designed just for you. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you soon.